Voter education, no doubt, serves as a preventive action and conflict mitigation in an electoral process. This is why key actors in the electoral system maintain a strong view on the need for continuous voter education to reduce tension, improve knowledge, and transparency of the entire process. Considering the import of this topic, especially approaching another electioneering year in 2019, is the reason why this week's episode of Issues on the Unity Station NTA Abuja will focus attention on finding answers to educate and enlighten the viewer. Hello, thank you for joining us on the program Issues. I am Ifoma Ojinta, urging you to stay as we will be right back soon. Thanks for staying tuned. Now, issues of franchise, voters registration, and PVC's collection, as well as what constitutes electoral offences, are always in the front burner while discussing voter education. And our discussion this week with our guest will emanate from these concerns. This is after we take our companion segment, The Backgrounder.
Democracy remains a process, and in Nigeria is a journey that has begun. Arguably, the country's electoral and democratic experience is being improved since the return of democratic governance in 1999. The laws are explicit on the roles of the electoral umpire and the responsibilities of citizens in the electoral and democratic process. Sections 2 and 153 of the Electoral Act 2010, as amended while giving eloquent expression to voter education, clearly empowers the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) to carry out voter education from time to time with a view to closing the gap that absence of voter education may create. Voter education no doubt plays an important role in making the system more credible, transparent and acceptable, which implies continuous enlightenment of eligible voters and citizens as well as guidelines and regulations on the conduct of an election. It stimulates good mobilization for a successful electoral process and participation. Key players in the political realm have often clamored for a synergy among all concerned parties to build a system through shared knowledge and advocacy that spells out the duties and responsibilities of all in an electoral process, especially in the areas of innovations and changes. Prominent among many issues of voter education in the country is the uncollected PVCs, an important document without which an eligible voter cannot exercise their franchise. These and other issues of voter education will be our focus on Issues this week with our guest shortly.
Thank you very much for that insight, which will set the tone for our discussion with Prince Kevin Fyneface. He is a public good advocate, a security expert, and a blogger. Very good afternoon. Thanks for coming on our show.
My pleasure. Thanks for inviting me.
Well, you have quite a CV here. Public good advocate, security expert, and a blogger. Very nice. And, well, we shall be discussing voter education. And, of course, as a public good advocate, I think we're on track.
Yeah, sure. Obviously.
Now, let's set the ball rolling. You know, one major problem facing the electoral process in Nigeria is voter apathy. How can we change this narrative?
I think if we, as a nation, and the government in all seriousness want to pursue a credible election in 2019, you should see it as a matter of urgency to start educating the Nigerian electorates and those who will, before 2019, be eligible to register to vote. Although the Commission said they've stopped every form of registration, I think that is also wrong, in the sense that people who get matured will be disenfranchised. We don't know how many millions of us that will be 18 years come December. We cannot deny them the right to vote. because it's part of what the Constitution says is eligible age for someone to right to vote. So the government, who becomes the mother of everybody in the nation, should see it as a matter of urgency to start educating the Nigerian public, go to the secondary schools, go to the universities. What are the basic rights, the civic rights and responsibilities of citizens of this country? How did they get to know the importance of the voter's card? Now, you need to understand this. The voter's card happens to be the most powerful tool in a democracy because it is one tool that enables the legitimacy of the office and the occupier of that office. The voter's card legitimizes the office and the occupier of the office. Without the voter's card, nobody can be voted into any office. Because if you run a democracy, it means people will be able to be eligible, first be eligible to register to vote. And I will go cast their votes. And what they will use to cast their vote is a voter's card, which is the permanent voter's card that, with the PVC, we often talk about. So if that is the case, then it means the importance of that card makes the voter the kingmaker. How many Nigerian voters understand this power behind the voter's card? Now, the card you have is not your driver's license. It's much powerful. It is not your ATM card. It's much powerful because that card enables you to vote in people, credible people, who will go out there to be able to discharge the responsibilities of governance. National Orientation Agency is supposed to be a government, an agency of government to help, to educate, to help, to enlighten, to help to inform that the citizens will know the basic civic responsibilities with which they need to embark on so as to become key stakeholders of the Nigerian project.
Still talking about the PVCs, that's the voter's card. It's called a permanent voter card
Yeah.
for now. INEC, particularly in the FCT, have, reportedly complained of uncollected permanent voters cards. You're talking about them, the commission suspending the registration for now. But still, the commission, commenced the registration April 2017 and stopped towards the end of August. But then, during the process, they printed quite a number of PVCs, which still lies in the commission's office, uncollected, over 200 for the FCT alone.
About 200 million or 200,000?
200,000.
Okay.
What is the implication of this?
Okay, now, why should it be that in the process of voter registration, data are collected? What is the essence of collecting the data of your phone number, email address, or whichever that your living address is? I agree that we don't have a clear-cut postal system where probably because of my address put in the form, you can send those things. The cost is there. As a taxpayer, I have given the power to the government of the day to be able to see that things are done in a manner that is convenient and accessible to people. So INEC is supposed, as a matter of fact, liaise with Communication Commission, NCC, and see that all of these numbers, text messages can be sent that, look, your card is ready. What is the customer service responsibilities of the commission? Or give a call through to these persons. What does it cost to give a call, to spend 1 minute to let me know that my card is ready? When you do the public announcement, how do you know the announcement you made reached me? You don't just do a public announcement, pay something. It will always not be in the place of the voter to always go to the commission's office, especially when you get to these places, they have attitude to relate with you. You work in an environment where you need to take excuse for time. You suffer to go register. The importance of the card is not known to you. You only did that because it was a general thing that was happening. It was a cliche thing. Have you got your voter's card? Everybody wants to see your voter's card. So you just went to register to fulfill all righteousness without first understanding the importance of that voter's card. So I think if the commission is bothered about those who have not collected 200,000, like you said, then they should start simple things. Technology makes things easy. You can look at the phone numbers on those of the registered voters and start giving them text message and give a call. In fact, you can even do free text messages. Some of those numbers have numbers that maybe are WhatsApp enabled. You can do those free text messages or free calls to those numbers if you don't want to spend the money and do it. Or you can look at, since government regulates these things, that the internet regulates, all of these things, the telecommunication people, they can create a symbiotic relationship to say, look, we have a national request. There's a national emergency for us to reach out to these people who have registered but are not being able to collect their PVCs. So we want to reach them. That can come in under a national, platform. And they can be reached.
Now, aside PVC collections and the powers, of the permanent voter cards, what are, what other issues do voters need to know in the Nigerian electoral process?
Beautiful. First, as a voter, I have come to understand that my voter's card makes me a kingmaker. The collective responsibilities of citizens of this nation is to understand that you do not leave that responsibilities with people who don't have the understanding of the importance of that card. So the voter should now know that his voter's card is not just designed to give him one identity, but to make him a major stakeholder in a Nigerian project. Imagine Nigeria is a registered limited liability company. It means that as a stakeholder, you're a shareholder in that company. Whatever dividends that need to be shared, you'll be part of it. So the voter's card makes you a shareholder that can benefit immensely. So if you fail to take advantage of that opportunity, then you do not have right to complain when things are not done right. So if we leave those who are not qualified to get into elective offices and they are elected to those offices because of our negligence, automatically we'll have misfit people who will rule us. Okay. But with the understanding of the voter's card, what it means is that the understanding of the power of the voter's card, what it means is that you now know that you now have to begin to look at those who want to come and rule us, or lead us rather, if they truly have a social contract with which you can get into a contract with them with. The voters can enable you to ask questions, enable you to become an accountant of the resources of the nation. Understanding this principle will help to encourage and motivate them to not just sell the votes, but to ensure that those who are coming are truly qualified. Let me sound this. Do not just go register to have your voter's card. Be part of the political process. Be a member of the civil society group or a registered political party of your choice. But if you're part of the political process, you will ensure only those who can represent the interests of the commonality of the good of the people can be given the candidature of the party representatives.
Okay. Now, how significant, do you think voter education is to our entire electoral and democratic process?
If you look at the political economy, voter education will really help in enhancing our political economy. What does that mean? It means that if people begin to understand the importance of the voter's card, they will vote in people who are credible, that can drive our political process and bring about an egalitarian society with good governance. In the place where there is good governance, it means every sector of the nation begins to thrive. Business will do well because policies will be formulated to help create an enabling environment. It means there will be reduction in crimes. That means there will be security. It means also that the life expectancy of the people will also improve, because when there is good governance, the economy is booming well, the people are living right. People who are married can also remain in that essence. The kids will go to good schools. There will be better infrastructure. There will be quality education. There will be quality healthcare service delivery because of the voter's card. That is the miracle the voter's card does. But in your inability to understand the importance, see, when the importance of a thing is not known, its abuse is inevitable. In as much as we have chosen democracy, we should also learn to see how we can tailor our democracy to suit our peculiarities, looking at our ethno-religious sentiments, so that our democracy is geared towards enhancing culture and tradition, while at the same time doing things that is internationally accepted by all.
Okay. Now, earlier you mentioned the NOA. But I want to let you know that we all know that the power of voter education lies with the Independent National Electoral Commission, which, is the electoral umpire, and it should be continuous. But then you said they have not fared so well. But I just want to ask you, for the little they have done, how educated are Nigerian voters, especially in the rural communities?
See, there's something you need to understand about our nation, Nigeria. Why can't INEC see the need to synergize with relevant agencies that can enhance such? If National Regulatory Agency is saddled with the responsibility to inform the Nigerian public, why can't they see the need to look at the INEX document, the responsibilities of the voter, and see how they can, tailor that, translate that into the understanding of the common man on the streets in the different Nigerian languages, and partner with the radio stations, the TV stations. Say, look, as your social community social responsibility or corporate social responsibility, we want you to do this, air this thing for us once every week in this language, in this area. So you can reach the different audience. If you go to the north, everybody has a transistor radio, even to the least educated persons. Why can't you use such window? If you go to the south, everybody have access to the internet. Why can't you use such opportunity? And our phones have internet. Yes, NCC has said do not disturb. They come up with do not disturb, so you don't send text messages. But see, there's always an exception to the rule. Why can't you do bulk SMSs to reach out to those who have phones? If there are 145 million active phone lines, there is no reason why those who are registered cannot be reached. Because there are 145 million and still counting active phone lines based on the tele-density of Nigeria, then it means that they can send bulk SMSs. They should send SMSs that educate us, telling us every day a tip to enlighten us and to inform us to make the right choice. Why can't INEC see the responsibility to go way ahead of time to begin to inform the Nigerian public through the schools, go to the primary schools, set debate clubs, debate clubs, to educate the people, send a message. Why can't you partner with Nigerian the films industry and say that they do films, movies that depict, what the people should know, so they see those characters and begin to learn, because seeing is being. If people begin to form their lives and form their character from the TVs, from what they hear, why can't you begin to see how we take advantage, do jingles or create skits that can send a message and through the radio waves? People listen to it through the radio waves, through different languages, and they are educated, they are informed.
Let's go to the issue of vote buying. It's becoming more prominent, in our electoral system, and no one is, owning up. So what is the way out of this?
You see, when the importance of a thing is not known, its abuse is inevitable. Now, because they don't know the importance of the voter's card, when the politician comes to say, before I give you money, you have to vote for me, show proof. I like what the commission, the INEC, did recently, not allow people to capture their ballot papers after, they've done printed. Because that's part of the way to show proof that that's your receipt for the money you want to collect, that I voted for you, you will show it. They should go beyond that. If the Nigerian public understand that their voter's card is the most important tool, nobody will collect money from anybody. You know what they'll begin to do? You will see high-level galvanization to get people of like minds to take people out. Because even to understand that your voter's card enables you to recall someone who is representing you, they don't even know. No, the Constitution has provision, giving us a power to pull them down, take the carpet off of their feet, and let them fall. Because there's a banana peel in the Constitution, in the voter's card as enshrined. What's the banana peel? The recall process.
You're watching Issues, reaching you from NTA Channel 5 Abuja, the Unity Station. And of course, we are looking at voter education and the power of the permanent voter's card. Let's take a break now. Continue in a moment. Thanks for staying tuned. And of course, still with me is Prince Kevin Fyneface. He is a public good advocate, a security expert, and a blogger. Now, we were talking about vote buying before the break. What do you see as some of the electoral offenses, that are common to our electoral system, and how should all this be addressed?
Ballot box snatching, intimidation, thuggery. These are offenses. The commission is empowered. When I mean the commission, the Independent National Electoral Commission is empowered in partnership with the Nigerian police to arrest, prosecute any offender. So those who commit these offenses will not only be arrested and nothing is said after the arrest, but will be arrested and be prosecuted. And because they have breached the law, will be imprisoned for such offenses. So we need to get more people, highly placed persons, politically exposed persons, very important personalities that commit these crimes to be imprisoned for their crimes. Let there be punishment. See, when there is no punishment or reward in a system, then of course you begin to find anarchy in that system. Okay. So what gives anybody the confidence to go snatch a ballot box? Somebody has told you, don't worry.
Okay, now, aside from sending bulk SMS to the electorate by the Independent National Electoral Commission, on to educate voters, because we have, not everybody owns phones, we know that, and we have the literates, the illiterates, we have the elderly, we have persons living with disabilities. When and how, should the electoral umpire be providing voter education apart from through your mobile phones?
Beautiful. I said something about voter registration. Voter registration is supposed to be a continuous process. If you said you're stopping every registration, you're not doing us any good.
It was suspended.
No, it's suspended. That's what I'm saying. It's supposed to be a continuous process. The only thing you tell me, you will not do that emergency arrangement anymore. If you want to register or this, go to the office and register. People should walk in at their leisure to register. Continuous voter education, they have a department for it. They should continue to educate the people and see how people can easily assess if you have disabilities, maybe impairment of disability, maybe whatever it is, disability. Imagine, for an instance, you have 145 million active telephone lines, and the current voter registration, the current voter register is about 80 to 80 something million, from 60 something is growing. And if you have that, I doubt if more than half of those numbers doesn't have phone numbers. After those registrants doesn't have phone numbers. I doubt so. But let's say they don't have. Let's say out of 60 million people, only 20 persons have phone numbers. I mean, of all our elections we've seen, they've not exceeded more than 20-something million people that cast their vote on the day of election. Why can't we reach those persons? Now, why don't you also look at their addresses and partner with NIPOS, the postal agency, and see that those addresses are reached? What government should be doing is to see that people are first educated and enlightened, they take ownership, the people by themselves will do the right thing. See, community share responsibility is better than any other responsibility.
Okay. Now, on the final note, as we approach the 2019 general elections, what advice you have for INEC again, and indeed all citizens,
No one man's blood is worth anybody's office. The INEC should, as a matter of high sense of responsibility, begin to educate the Nigerian public. Buy materials as they're supposed to be bought. Start talking to the transport union workers. Get the right vehicles that will be fit for such job. Get the right application that can help in project management. Start your project management responsibility now, so that you know how those ballot papers and electoral materials will be distributed. Who are those that you need to send as agents or volunteers? Start educating them right now. Start the orientation right now. And also, don't just wait until when it is very close. Be independent as you become the umpires of this election that is coming, the coming general elections. Be independent. Understand that the responsibility of the growth of this nation is largely also resting on your shoulder. Ensure that the people who will vote actually vote right and their votes count. Ensure that people get their materials on time, and show that you're not biased. Show that you're actually fair and you are doing the right thing.
Thank you very much, Prince Kevin Fyneface. It's been a pleasure talking with you. Thank you for honoring our invitation. Well, you've heard it all. Indeed, the voter education is very significant in our electoral process, and we all now know the power of obtaining your permanent voters cards. And that's the outlook of the program this week. Join us again, same time, same station next week. Bye for now.